So we've been doing a lot of talking about Secret Wars. I've been doing a lot of videos about it, a lot of things connecting to it, all because of these leaks. Um, we're gonna. I'm not gonna really. We're gonna now. Now's the time to talk about the leak, the full leak. It happened about from this time. I'm filming it about 3 days ago. I'm sure this won't come out until like a week after or something like that, because I'm doing it ahead of time. but um, there are some parts in it that I made videos off of that I can see um, some things may be happening with Scott Lang, um, Spider-Man having issues after it that I didn't really talk too much about during Secret War. But it's really weird where they're going with it. So if you read the comics in Secret War, the Secret Wars comics, the newest one they made, where Doom takes over and creates Battleworld, supposedly that's where they're going with this one. They're going to Battleworld, and Doom's going to create it at the end of Doomsday. We already have leaks on that. We don't know if those are real yet, but here we are at Secret Wars. Um, but they basically already think that this is a story, and again, in the comic, Doom creates Battleworld, and everybody like forgets what happens, and the incursions happen, and they start blowing up, and all kinds of stuff happens, and there is like a space pod full of a few of the heroes or something like that, and they're the ones that kind of have to put it all together. A lot of crazy stuff happens. Black Panther gets the gauntlet, and he has to fight through people, a lot of stuff. But yeah, Ultimate Spider-Man plays a big part in that too. It's pretty cool. And that's how they got to get to Model Command. That's kind of holding it all together. It gives me a Loki vibe of holding it all together. But from what I'm understanding, and I've said before, I thought um, Franklin Richards was going to be the Molecule Man that holds it all together. But thinking about him being a baby, how they can harness it, I don't know. There's a lot of power ceiling in a lot of these leaks, so I don't know if that's going to be a thing. But I don't know if there's going to be one person holding together like the comic. So is it going to be like the comic? I don't know how much. Far as like the pod that, and again, these are all over Reddit or wherever, so it's not like someone's got a secret insider in Hollywood tells me, nothing like that, like people say. I have one up right now that was recently. So basically, like, it's gonna look all like medieval times, basically, like they do in the comic, where it's very emperor like, very Doom like castle. There's still no explanation of why he looks like Robert Downey Jr. in any of it, which is another thing. I really hate that casting a lot. Um, I love Robert Downey Jr. and I think the Russos love him too, and they know fans love him. But I just don't think we needed to get him back in the bunch because it's just making things way more confusing, just like super confusing. And so far in the leaks, there's no explanation on it at all. And that was more one thing I was hoping that they would have an idea, even if it's a fake idea, a fanfic. Just have an idea would be pretty dope. But anyways, so they're gonna have that pod thing again, and it's gonna have Sadie Sink's Jean Grey supposedly already in it. How's that crossover with Wolverine supposed to be in it with Deadpool? And it's Hugh Jackman with that Jean Grey just seems odd. And the Young Avengers, that would make sense. Vision, She-Hulk, Namor, Reed Richards, and Sentry. I don't know how that works without all the Fantastic Four. I know we've had the video leaks of them fighting with the X-Men for Doomsday and the Sentinels. I think they're Sentinels. People were saying Doombots at first, but I think they're Sentinels coming out of the ground. It could be Doombots for all we know, and they look legit. It's pretty good, and it's choppy, and you can make out what it is. So, but I believe that more than the CinemaCon fakes that were going on or whatever. So basically, somehow in Doomsday, he takes Loki's power, I guess, right? So again, I'm not gonna like. We'll go through parts of the movie based or this leak that made me jump to a lot of these other videos I was making, but I don't want to sit there and tell the whole story. But I want to kind of have my takes on things like that. So supposedly that's what lets him create everything. A lot has to do with the TVA. A lot of weird things. I've read stuff from like looking up things. I've read things that were released like 2 years ago about Doomsday, I believe, maybe 2 years ago. I don't know, whenever it kind of happened. And they were saying stuff like everything that King did, they're gonna replace it and be like Doom was behind it, and the Doom created the TVA. And I just think all that wouldn't work. It just looked like super backtracking and all that. But the TVA does bring up do a lot for it. And supposedly in Doomsday, he gets rid of the TVA, kills it, which I think that's fine because TVA is hard. It's really easy to cover up plot holes with the TVA and the multiverses. That's one thing I don't like, that you could write yourself out of anything. Oh, they're a variant. Oh, that was a different timeline. I just don't like it. It doesn't hold you accountable. But supposedly, yeah, and that's what happens. He takes Loki's power. I don't get how he does it. He is a sorcerer. There could be ways. He ends up taking it, and that's how he ends up using the power to make Battleworld. And supposedly, he like hates Steve more than anybody. It's like almost Reed's spot in a way, because Steve messed it all up by staying back in time, which I do actually appreciate. I kind of like them having their own endings, but I always was bugged. I said in another video about Steve Rogers staying back. Made no sense. I get it. He was being once giving himself a break and not being selfish, or he was being selfish for once, I should say, and giving himself a little something. But that little something maybe should have just brought, Carter to the future and live with her here. Not so much stay back there and have to watch all the years and years of events and the Avengers events. And does he watch himself fighting? Does he not go into fight? Does 9/11 happen even and he just lets it go? Like, what all happens here? Too many questions. Too many questions, no answers. So Doom hates Steve. So I know what, like, supposedly, again, leaks. Doomsday, at the end, he basically shows Steve this universe he made. And it's like, basically, you're going to watch it. And you're going to love it because you ruined my life and this and that, whatever. That's supposedly how it ends. And we see Doctor Strange as like his right-hand man or something. And this one, it starts off like supposedly the same thing I said about, a castle-like kingdom and stuff like that. Doctor Strange is still supposed to be his right-hand man. I don't know how much Doctor Strange is going to be in the sequel. I have not heard many leaks about... Oh, I'm sorry, Doomsday. I have not heard many leaks or stories or anything about Doctor Strange at all. I have an idea about that, but I'm making another video about it, and it deals with the in-credit scene of Multiverse. Because Multiverse opened us to different timelines. A lot of these things were leading up to timelines, which Kang kind of was opening up as well. But I think what they're doing now is just a hard pivot to try to fix it, and Doom is just being the guy that I'm mad that they're opening up multiverses, and I'm the one that's doing something about it. Before, Kang was just trying to conquer them all. This one is just changing it to Doom wanting to make his own world out of hatred. But him being the Reed, or Steve being the Reed out of that, it's kind of irritating a little bit. Kind of ruins that lore. A lot of things I'm okay with Marvel changing. I've mentioned that before. Ant-Man not being Hank Pym at first, or he was kind of, but he really wasn't the one in the Avengers. Scott Lang was our first Ant-Man, basically. These little things, Ultron being created by Bruce Banner and Tony. These little things that were fine, but it's kind of hard to pass up the whole the rival of Reed and Doom just because it's so iconic. And switching over to Cap, that's one thing I didn't like when I'm reading about this. It could be part of it, who knows? But supposedly Strange, I think, remembers everything, because I think in the Doom, the Secret Wars comic, I'm pretty sure Stephen Strange knows all about it, and he just plays along with it because, again, it's like the time gem thing. He knew, like, this has to happen, it has to happen a certain way. I don't know, I can't remember in the comic, but I swore he knew what was going on. He was like his right hand man, and in this one, supposedly Yelena's like his like second lieutenant or something like that, like third in command or something like that. I don't know. There's rumors that a Sentry gets taken and he gets put away. I don't know how you do that with the Sentry. I don't know how that works. Maybe reduces him to feel like Bob. I don't know. And supposedly Steve and Sentry like meet each other in there because Steve's supposed to be just in a jail cell rotting, watching Doom's victory while he gets to have his family that he always wanted. In Battleworld, he ended up creating his own world. He ended up having a world where he had Sue and he had Valerie. I can't remember how to say her name, and Franklin, and it was his world that he always wanted. So in this one, I don't know if they're gonna make that happen. They don't mention much in the leaks about that. I think it'd be cool, but again, they're all kind of brainwashed to my knowledge. And Doctor Strange, we don't know. Again, these are all, we don't know anything really, but I'm going off of what they're saying and what I'm putting together with the comic as well, how much they're going to take away from it. So anyways, Steve's locked up or whatever. And the thing about the pod, in the comics, like I said, it was a small group of people. Phoenix, Cyclops comes out of it. And the Phoenix Cyclops was badass for a while. He became the Dark Phoenix, and it was a crazy story. Read Avengers vs. X-Men. It's such a fun story. But as soon as he gets off in the comics, like, Doom kills him right away, I believe. And I think they're just trying to show his threat. And then, like, that's when Doom, there's a famous panel where he yanks the spine out of Thanos, it's just really showing us that um, Doom is this big threat or whatever. But besides the point, there is supposed to be, again, there has to be survivors that do remember. Um, I don't know how they're going to be remembering. I heard rumors, this wasn't even in the leak, that somehow they get put into the quantum realm and Scott plays a big part in that. And again, it goes with my Scott video and creating the champions, and a lot of stuff are happening because he is already mentioned by Feige being a mentor to them. So there's a reason why he's playing a lot into Doomsday that we haven't even heard about, but Feige already commented on this. So could the quantum realm be at the end and he puts them in there? I don't know. In the comics, it was like a spaceship. It was a pod that held the people. And this one, like I said, I mentioned everyone, the Jean Grey from Spider-Man. If we don't have that confirmed, Sentry, Reed Richards, it's just odd bunch of people. Vision, the Young Avengers, Namor, really odd group to come together. But I guess that's what happens, and they're the ones that are like leading a resistance. They're the ones that show up, and a lot to do with Toby and Hugh Jackman. They are in the beginning supposedly in Doomsday, and there's been leaks of pictures of them together. They look like real pictures, and they could not be. But this leak came out after, so someone could have used that picture and made up their own thing. I don't know. I feel like maybe they're focusing on them too much so far, because in the first part of it, Doomsday, they weren't really there, and this one they're almost like headlining it. With Tom Holland Spider-Man seems to be like one of the leaders of the little pod group, and that makes sense to me because he deals with people erasing minds and stuff like that. So he kind of like, I don't know if that would mean anything, but like I feel like maybe sympathizes with it. I don't know. Basically, yeah. So then there's like other things brought up, like She-Hulk's in it. Reed Richards, yes, is in it, but he has to go and like they're all going to different groups. If they're going to break up in teams, and we've seen this in a few movies. Let's say Infinity War. They broke up into what, 1, 2, 3, about 4 groups. I don't know. There was like 4 groups, I think. Now I really want to count, but I'm not going to go there. So this one, they're breaking up in a lot of solo groups. Like She-Hulk's going to the Hulks, and we've seen that concept art leak of like a Hulk planet, and I think that's where they're going to try to do the whole, maybe bring back Scar type of story, why we had him for no reason in the She-Hulk TV show. I don't know. It looks like that. It's not going to be like the Hulks from the Old Man Logan comic. Not where they're all grotesque and like hillbillies or whatever. I can't remember. I know Maestro plays a part in Battleworld, but I can't remember if the Hulks have like a world or something. I don't know. I assume something like that. There were so many battle rules, it was ridiculous. But like She-Hulk has to be the one that talks to the Hulks, I guess. And then like Deadpool has to go and like restore the memories of Thor, and people are connecting that to the video of Deadpool sees on the screen. He's like, "What's that?" And it's Thor holding him crying or something like that. I don't know. I forgot what even the video showed in Wolverine and Deadpool and Wolverine and Deadpool. But people are linking that together. I think that's why it could be fake, or part of this being fake. Is they're taking things from past that we've saw and making it into a rumor. Because why would Deadpool be the one to like, be the one to unlock Thor's memories? And I don't know. I don't know if this one is when, I think in Doomsday it's supposed to be when Loki gives Steve a card. I don't know why it's a card to go back to the TVA if he ever needs them. That's how he transports them to the Fantastic Four world, I believe, and that's where he lives happily with Peggy. I don't know. I don't get it. But again, that's going back to Doomsday stuff. Because again, there's stuff that say Loki dies, Loki doesn't. I don't know. Again, these are all rumors. We're having a little fun with it. That's all we're doing. So supposedly, yeah, Young Avengers are in it. It makes sense for the Young Avengers. I think they're going to turn into the champions. If they move, the ending is what gets me the most. If they move on the way they're going to, I don't know what they're going to do, but in all actuality, I don't know if that's even the right word. I would think building the Young Avengers, we have a lot of evidence, them building them up, that they're going to go further with that. I don't know if audiences will accept that, because again, everything has to be in-game big now, and if not, everybody gets upset. Oh, Shang-Chi's not that big. It's not, it's just fans. So basically, the Young Avengers go and help the mutants remember. I don't get how you make them remember. I'm thinking of like movies like, what are movies when they got to make people like remember again? There was something recently I was thinking of. It might have been something even with like What If or something. I don't know, but there is something like you got to correct them and then correct them, and they all start remembering now, and it just seems kind of goofy, and everybody has different, like Spider-Man rallies people from New York, and it just, I don't know, like how do you just go wake up everybody? This is all not real. It's just, I don't know. It just seems dumb, and a dumb way to split them apart. You're telling a lot of different stories, a lot of different camera work is going on. We're jumping to here, jumping to there. Sounds really messy. I really don't think this could be part of it. There could be some things in here that are real. The She-Hulk thing, I really don't believe, because Tatiana Lee said that she was basically done, and I'm one of the probably few people that didn't mind She-Hulk, and I love Tatiana Lee. I think she's great. Watch Orphan Black, great show. But it seemed like she was done with everything. That was recently. I think she said she would come back, but she thinks fans wouldn't have her come back. But they mentioned her quite a bit in this treatment. So I'm not sure about that part. And then like Reed goes to this Future Foundation, which I don't know why Doom would create that. First of all, I don't know why Doom would create a lot of these people and bring them back to life. Battleworld, he did do it. So, I can't question that either, because why did he do it then? If you want to take out people that you don't like, why bring them back? And, bring back Sue because you want to marry her. Bring back, the people that you want to use, like Doctor Strange and stuff like that. But don't, bring back Spider-Man for no reason. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, he does that. So he restores it with everybody there with Brainwash. And like I said, those teams are supposed to be running around helping everybody. They're like, they keep explaining them as a resistance or whatever. And then Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, and Steve Rogers, and it's weird because they word them like that. They don't even say Chris Evans. Escape Doom's prison, and Yelena is like some kind of big higher up guard. They say like third command, but I'm guessing she's like in their story, not in the movie. We don't know. Is like the ruler leader of his soldier team, and his soldier team is Thor Corps. That was a really interesting comic from Battleworld, where all the Thors from like all the universes, they're like the Green Lantern Corps, and I always say Corps, and it was pretty cool. And Doom did use them in the comics as his like royal guards, and it was interesting. And so I'm guessing if they're saying what they're trying to say is Elena's like leading them, I guess, because she's like the third in command, and I don't know, it just seems really weird. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know. Somehow she supposedly, it gets all confusing. Supposedly she remembers, and that's how she helps them break out. And the mission is to find like Loki, because Loki. Why would Doom bring back Loki? I have no idea. If he killed him already, or he died during the incursion, why would you bring back the guy that had you took the powers from? It makes no sense. But supposedly, that's the goal. It's to find Luke Skywalker and get the plan. Oh, no, not that movie. Close. We need Luke Skywalker somehow. But they need Loki to make everything work. So they end up going after Loki, and it's basically where Asgard was, but it's like a casino world. And this is like, Star Wars all over again, a casino planet, a casino world. It's like supposed to be all shady Asgard. We did have an interesting leak, concept art, which they have said is from the Marvel artist, that has Star-Lord, I think Wong, and the Young Avengers sitting at a table looking uncomfortable. Some look comfortable, some look uncomfortable. Looks like in a bar. I don't know if that could be the casino, whether or the person writing this is getting that from, but supposedly they're there trying to find Loki, and I don't know where the Hugh Jackman, Steve Rogers, Tobey Maguire part went after that. I don't know if they were looking for him as well, but they go to the part where the Young Avengers are looking for him, and it's weird. And everyone from the TVA that's like well known in the show, they're all there working, and they're just casino workers, and Loki's the manager. But he doesn't believe their story, and I'm guessing they, as in, maybe he's talking about Toby and them. It's getting, where's Tom Holland and all this? They talk about him in the beginning, and then he disappears. And why not bring Andrew Garfield back if we're bringing Tobey Maguire back? I don't really understand that. a lot of people that read the leak too were really upset. Like, why is there only Peter 1 and Peter 2? Where's Peter 3 at? And I would be upset if this does come to be true, that they don't bring Andrew Garfield. Like, why? If you're going to do one, just bring them both back. If not, don't bring either back. Because I thought Toby was going to die in the beginning of how they said it was going to be in Doomsday, when Wolverine and Deadpool are blowing up their planet to try to stop the incursions, and Spider-Man fights them and they get away or something, and Spider-Man dies with his planet or something like that, or they all die. I can't remember. It was another leak or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, with Tom Holland not being mentioned that much is kind of weird, and the fact that Andrew Garfield's not part of it. So I guess at that point, they're all trying to convince Loki, and you see they find Tony Stark there as a drunk at the bar, down on his luck or something. If we get Tony Stark back this way, I'll be so disappointed. Like, no, I mean, I was mad when he died, but I got it, you know? He had to go out some way. He couldn't be Iron Man forever. And it was respectable, and a long journey we watched this guy go through. And it, you know, it was a big payoff. It was crazy, and it sucked to lose that cool of a character, but we get him back in the world already as Doom, playing Doom, which is already kind of a slap in the face of fans, and I don't like that at all. They should just got an actor to play Doom. I love Robert Downey Jr. Just get an actor, though. It's too confusing. If they're going to say he's a variant, another bullshit cop-out again. He's from another universe, and he looks like Tony, and I don't know. It's stupid. But anyways, they stumble upon a drunk Tony Stark, and they try to get him to join. I don't know why he would join if he's a miserable drunk, and they're trying to like tie it in, I think, kind of to like Demon in a Bottle. This is what he would have been like, a drunk, and then, I don't know. It's all silly. But supposedly, after some time, out of nowhere, Loki and Tony believe him. And they go on with they believe him, and they go on their journey to go and do the final battle at this point. And I don't get how this is a big buildup. I don't get how this is like just something to build up for us to be like, yes, like I can't wait. They just left the casino, and they're going to save us. And I don't know. I just think I just know it's I don't know. It doesn't rub well with me, the whole idea of that's where we get the point of the turn in the movie where we're getting things done, and they have that rally call, and everyone's like, let's go. You hit the music, and we're all gonna go fighting. It's all triumphant, and it's like Wolverine, Toby, and maybe Holland, Steve, and I don't know where Thor's at in all this either. Thor, they haven't mentioned anything about Thor. So does that mean something happens to Thor in Doomsday, if this is real? Does that mean something happened to Thor in this? Because Thor seems to have the biggest story arc, far have I seen in the commercials and the promotions, even in the toy leaks. To me, that's what it seems like, that Thor is a big, him and Steve Rogers. And I think a lot of people didn't like that it was centering around them too. And especially, I did a video about how people didn't like Steve wearing normal clothes. That was a big thing that people hated. But yeah, it's just silly if that's their big thing, is they get them to convince them, and they rally back to Battleworld to go fight. I guess that's another part of Battleworld, and they rally to go to the Doom's castle and storm it. And the Thors and the Hulks fight against the Thors. I don't get how you would get. I don't know if it's like regular Thor supposed to be in it, and that's when they first mentioned him and the Hulk. He leads the Hulks maybe, and that's when they mentioned Thor's back. I don't know. To fight the Thors, which is weird because the Thors are like Better Bill. I think Jane Foster. I think there's a lot, so I don't know if they're gonna do that. That'd be a lot of money to put on. This movie's gonna be cost so much already, anyways, and we're jumping way to Secret Wars, so who knows what is going on. But again, I don't expect things not to get leaked, because so many things have leaked in Marvel and have been true. So many things. You could go back to Endgame, like I think it was like 7 years ago on Reddit. It was word for word basically what happens in Endgame, and this was leaked like I think 2 years before it came out. So you never know with these, and it's funny in all the comments they hated it. They said Tony goes back. He returns the stones. Um, when he gets back, he shows up as an old man. He gives his shield to Falcon or Sam, and you know, basically how it all ends. He stays in the past, and everyone was like, "That's so stupid." He stays in the past. I can't. I'm not gonna watch this. Iron Man dies. That's so dumb. And it's funny that all that happened, and people were all okay with it when it came out, because I think it just turned out to be this epic fan service, good story, but super fan service to us saying goodbye to this original Avengers team. Um, so you never know; these could be somewhat real again, and I might be acting like them, saying this just sounds awful. Who knows? It might have so much charisma in it that it feels good, but I don't think so, to be honest with you. Um, so anyway, so basically they storm the castle. I think he's using like Doombots and things like that to fight him off. And I hate that we're really like going through the story, but I just want to get to the points where I just don't. How do we make this work? And how does this tie in well? And where is this person at? Because we already talked about Namor on this ship. They already mentioned that. And again, or he came through a glitch or whatever they call it. I think it's gonna be the quantum realm. Honestly, I think Ant-Man's gonna save the champions, Young Avengers, and a few others in the quantum realm, or other people might get away somewhere else. Namor might find some way and take the others or something. But Namor is mentioned, and he's never mentioned again. So I don't get. Jean Grey is never mentioned again, except for in the beginning, and that's it. And her being Jean Grey hasn't been confirmed even for the Spider-Man movie yet. We'll find out soon. Hopefully this will be out before we find out. But yeah, so it's just one of those things where I don't. They're dropping and like not letting us know. Give us a general guide to. You don't need a guide to everyone, but it needs to make sense if you're going to drop their name. Basically, if you're going to drop their name in there, you got to tell us where they're going. Like, oh, that's as far as I know in the leak. Just say that. Say they mention Namor, but they don't mention him again. They don't do that. They just keep telling the story, and this is how it goes. And a lot of times people will rebuttal and say like, wait, this doesn't seem right. He goes, nope, it's legit. They'll go, it's legit. It's from this guy. And this guy, they'll go tag him back years ago, and he would spoil this, and he spoiled that. So I don't know. But it just, a lot of things don't add up and doesn't make sense. But, so Doom just starts losing or whatever. And they have like Reed and Sue the Fantastic Four. I don't know if all of them are there or what. But they try to like reason with him, and, they just talked about his family dying. I don't know. It seems stupid. And it's kind of a dumb moment. It sounds like he like basically like starts to understand them. Then kind of like if you watch Stranger Things, when Vecna, I can't even think of his name for a second, when they break down him in the cave and he starts like almost you feel like he's gonna give in. He's like, no, I am evil, and it kind of gave that vibe what they're trying to do with Doom is like he almost starts breaking down in a way and hearing out like Reed and all them, and then he just no, I'm not, I'm evil, and it's like I don't see Doom ever breaking down at ever, unless they want to ruin the character. Like I said, there's some changes in characters I don't mind at all, but Doom being a guy that like bends over for someone, I don't want to see that Doom. Doom is not like that at all. And we're finally getting Doom, and they can't mess this up, man. You can't. I think there's a lot of pressure on this to do Doom. Not so much even the movies, just to do Doom right. A lot. People have a lot on it. But yeah, supposedly, he just is like, no, like, I'm coming after you. And he's about to, like, kill them. And, like, then out of nowhere, Toby, Hugh Jackman, and Steve, they always like, say their names like this. Tony, Hugh, and Tony. Toby, Hugh, and Tony. They always called the other main Avenger by their actor, or by their character name. The others are called by the actor. So I don't know why. But supposedly they show up. Again, it's giving Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman already got kind of a good send-off. And if he does come back, I thought it'd be in this, and it'd be it after this, because maybe Deadpool's right. They're going to be using him until he's 30. Or 90. I'm sorry, wrong joke. But him to be such a big role in Toby, like, I don't know, like them to come back and be the ones that save the Fantastic Four, and whatever happens, they have Loki with them. Loki somehow gets his powers back, and then Doom loses, and it just sounds very anticlimactic. And once again, it could be like the people that read the in-game story and were like, this sounds stupid, whatever, until maybe it's on screen, it feels different. But to me, this on screen already just sounds like, if this is the truth, this is god awful. And I've been making videos based off a lot of these rumors and what's going to happen afterwards. So it's all with a grain of salt when I talk about any of these things. The only thing, like I said, the Scott Lang thing kind of makes sense. Um, the recasting, like they talked about, makes sense, but I have no idea how they're gonna make it right with the recasting. But anyways, we'll get to that point in a second. So they tell, Doom die. He doesn't die. I think he just collapses or something. I don't know. Loki restores the universe again, all the universes, and that's the weird thing. Everything goes back to normal. Loki returns to his throne, which is weird. He has a final goodbye with Thor, so Thor's mentioned again, and everyone goes back to where they came from. And this is the part that really like bugged me from the leak more than anything, because Feige already said that this is going to be not a reboot; it's going to be a reset. So if they're going to reset, I figure since they're having all these universes like Fox, Sony, whatever. I don't know if Sony wouldn't count, but Fox, X-Men universe, Fantastic Four's universe, I guess you could say. They're going to end up losing them, and we all kind of go under one umbrella, or Battleworld ends up being the world eventually. We have to rebuild from there, and that's when we end up finding like our new Caps and our new Thors or whatever. I don't know how they're going to do it. Again, in my Spider-Man video, I talk about how bad it will affect Spider-Man if they keep hauling around and have a new Tony show up. It's just crazy. So everything goes back to normal. Like, it was like almost all a dream. Like, Loki sets it all back up, so everyone goes back to where they want to go. And then and I guess there was some point in Doomsday that they said Steve had a kid, and we see that in the trailers. He has a little boy, baby, but supposedly he kills him when he's older or something. And in this, they say, oh, and then he reunites, Loki reunites Steve with Peggy, and his son's alive again. And it's like, it's all too much with the bow on top, and it's almost cheesy. Like, so I don't want everyone to die. I'm not saying that, but like, you're not even going to hold up the death in the first one, and it's already bad enough we had Loki come alive a million times, Professor X die a million times. But I think Loki, they made it work somehow because of the cosmic cube and stories like that. But the fact that everything just goes back to normal is just weird, and everything goes to the same timelines. X-Men go back, and they're at their timeline. MCU goes back, and they're at their timeline. And it's like, what was the whole purpose of this story? I get we're telling a story about Doom taking over the world, blah, blah, blah. But behind the scenes of that, we're telling a story to get things minimalized a little bit, not everything to be thrown everywhere. We're doing it to change things. And again, Doctor Strange is not even brought up through, besides the beginning part of him being like his right-hand man. We don't hear anything about Doctor Strange, and I think Doctor Strange should be a big part of this story. But it seems like the big key people are, in this one, Loki, Cap, and Toby and Hugh, as they call it. It seems like those are the main ones that we're following, besides the small people. And again, you don't hear about the Young Avengers again, anything like that once everything gets restored. And then the really goofy thing is it ends with Steve going to use that card that he got. It's like a magical card. I don't know how they're going to do it or how it's going to be done. And he's going to use it to go to the TVA and be like, I need to do something before this is all over. Can you give me a favor? And it's like, he asked them to let him go back. I don't know if he's old then going back to ask them. He's old then, and he's like, I need to go back. I don't know. But sets up Endgame, or the end of Endgame. So the TVA let him go back, tell them whatever, and here's your shield, blah, 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 and it's over. And I don't, where did he even go at that point in Endgame? Did he just walk away or something? I don't remember. Did they tell him bye and wave or something? I don't know. But yeah, so supposedly that's what happens. He uses that special card, his golden ticket. It's like Last Action Hero, like it rips and takes you to the movie or whatever. He ends up using that card from the TVA to go and make things all right again. And that seems really dumb how to fix everything, because that's going to be one of the biggest loopholes or plot holes, is if this all happens, how did that happen in Endgame? How did that Steve come back? Is it going to be what Bruce or Hulk always says, your past becomes your past, and it doesn't change the future? It's just, time travel and multiverses are so frustrating. So yeah, and they say Deadpool and Wolverine go back to the Fox universe, which is weird, because I thought they want Wolverine to be eventually in the MCU, and Deadpool easily they wanted it in the MCU. It just all didn't. It doesn't make sense, and we get, the thing with that's it. He gets to say goodbye like the end game. We're getting the end game ending all over again, and we realize that's where the old man came from out of nowhere, which they never would have wrote that ahead of time because they didn't know they're going to do this movie. But the old man showing up at that exact time was kind of weird. Like, how do you know they were at the teleportation contraption by the lake or whatever? I don't know. I don't know how Steve knew these things, but he showed up there. I always thought it was weird how this old man find him, old man Steve, but he did. This maybe will hold up if this does happen. I will be pissed if this happens. If that's the cop out that he uses a time travel device, and then people are saying like they're gonna tell him like don't say anything, don't do this before he leaves. They're all gonna be like lecturing him, kind of like all the TVA people, when you're going, don't do this, don't do that. And I guess it'd be the old one, like they're like yelling at, I guess, I don't know, tell him like you can't do this, you'll change time. I'm like, what the fuck, he already changed time like already. Like, he's pretty well aware. You shouldn't let him even do this right now. So the fact that that happens and that's how they like in the movie is basically how Endgame ends, and it's like, what do we all do this for? Like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I've been pulling things apart and, like I said, making videos like, if this does happen, what are the ramifications? With the idea that leaked first was Scott dying. If that happened, were they going to start knocking off other people? And I think Scott, it's a different purpose why he dies, but then it's like, okay, we won't have an Ant-Man, that makes sense. And now I'm at the point of these leaks, like, it just seems like I can't take none of it really serious. And I hate it because I don't mind being spoiled. I don't mind seeing spoilers because there's a difference for me reading it and then seeing it. And that went for like a lot of the movies I've seen. Like, I still get goosebumps and that awesome feeling you get when you see a cool part in a movie, even though if I know it's coming. It's just different than seeing it or reading it and then seeing it. But I mean, I get it. Some people just like to be totally surprised out of nowhere, and maybe one day I'll be like that. But right now, I'm not worried. So reading any of this doesn't bug me. But what does bug me is if this is what the other leakers got before, and this is somewhat true, and we're missing just gaps. And if these points are made, where like Steve is captured with Sentry, and then they get broken out by Yelena, and then where does Sentry go after that? And then the Hulks come and fight the Thors, and nothing mentions a Bruce, only She-Hulk. Like, a lot of these things just seem weird. Doesn't make sense. And to have Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire being such centerpieces of the story seems really weird. I know already we're getting Captain America and Thor as our main guys in this story, Doomsday, coming out, it seems like. And from everything, the leaks and the videos and CinemaCon footage and everything, it kind of makes sense. It lines up. But with this, I don't know. I know we have a long time to figure this out, but this is being filmed. I think Captain America. Chris Evans was like, I can't give you guys any hints. I want to tell you guys something. I can't think of it. Oh, I can tell you that I'm in Secret Wars. And that was like the thing. That was like his secret. That Secret Wars. That was his surprise. And that we kind of already knew he was going to show up. So I doubt he was going to like die in Doomsday or something. I mean, who knows? He might die, but they're going to bring him all back, which I don't know why Doom would. So he's going to be in Secret Wars. We know that much. But are they going to use him like that? And he also said that, I don't know how much I can't tell you guys how much I'll be in it. Kind of weird that he said that. Because who knows? He could be first person on screen and dies. And they filmed it already after Doomsday. That's the crazy thing, is why I'm saying, like, we have to wait a long time maybe to figure out if this is real or not. Secret Wars is being filmed, like, anytime soon. And these leaks happen. So, could this all be possible? Maybe. Does a lot of it sound idiotic? 100%. I think my biggest issue, more than anything, one big issue is just the fact so many characters run around doing like nonsense stuff and not focusing on a core story. Again, it's like repeating Endgame again. Why would we do this again? Instead of fighting the stones, where they're finding people and trying to get their memory back. How do you do that? I have no clue. I don't know how you just make everyone rallying them and make them come back. Another thing that bugs me is Toby and Hugh, Spider-Man and Wolverine, driving the story. I don't think they're important in the MCU. to drive it all the way. They had cool parts when they do show up. Wolverine technically hasn't showed up, but Toby did already. He had his moment. I think you kind of should leave it as is, and maybe his world gets destroyed. We don't hear about it anymore because they're done. They're done making them. X-Men universe gets destroyed. We're done. We're done making them. But clearly, we know they're bringing in the X-Men. We already seen the leaks and the pictures, and they already showed the cast. And Rebecca. I would say Stamos, but she's not Stamos anymore. But we've already seen those teasers of the chairs and all that, and Tatum as Gambit and all this stuff. So, and people at Cinecom seeing Gambit and Shang-Chi fight. And it's just one of those things that, yeah, some of this made sense and it worked out. So with this one, like I said, I just don't like the superheroes being thrown around everywhere. Not really focused on the main group besides Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Wolverine are the main things, running around with Steve at times, I guess. And then at Loki at times. I could get maybe behind that we need Loki to fix everything again, but Loki would have to have something that he's able to take power back. Because when Doom takes it from him, does he just die and then he lives again, but he has the power in him and he can go pull it all the way back? Or I don't know. It's all very confusing. And then the biggest what the hell is everything goes back to normal. Like it was all a dream. The Fox universe stays, Toby's world stays, and Fantastic Four goes back to their timeline, and at the end of it all, Steve goes back to his timeline, his son's alive, and we're all happy because it all gets better. And it's like, what was the point of all this? What was the point of all this? We went through all this. We bring out Doom. Huge bad guy. We're in love. We love that we got this bad guy. Huge. And this was his big story, and it just goes up to the point where everything just gets set back to normal. Does Doom get sent back to Fantastic Four world, because that's where he shows up in first. There's been rumors of them all being aligned with Doom, and he turns on them at the X-Men mansion. There's a lot of different things that have been spoken about. Like the Doomsdays leaks are starting to come out with footage, and people seeing stuff at CinemaCon, so there's ways to back that up. With this, there's nothing at the moment besides what a few things have been said. What Feige has said, what Chris Evans said in video, and things like that. But we don't know as far as if Loki plays a huge part in this one. We don't know. TVA does have to go away. We have to get rid of all this. The multiverses have to go away, but it sounds like they're not. It sounds like we're still going to have them in this leak. Not saying it's going to not happen, but in this leak, it says it all goes back to normal. And I read even somewhere else that like Doom is like upset and he's cursed. Like Reed was a big part of it, and he's now going to get his revenge against Reed Richards. And it's just, that's how they're going to make the rivalry start. I don't know. But I mean, that's my 2 cents on basically what has all been leaking. Like I said, is up here. You can go anywhere, find it. Reddit mainly has a bunch of different ones. For the most part, they all cross-reference the same things. Yeah, and people can tell me, like, if you like and subscribe and share, do all that fun stuff, we could talk more. Tell me what you guys think about this story. Like, it doesn't sound epic at all. And from what I heard about Doomsday and what people saw at CinemaCon, Doom fighting Thor and catching Stormbreaker with like his fingers or something, it sounded like crazy. And this to be like Doom doing no bad things besides like, haha, Steve, I caught you, you're gonna watch me live happily. And at the end, he gets talked down by Sue and Reed and them, and gets mad and starts fighting them again. But then he gets beaten because they distract him somehow or something. They don't even say that, but they say Loki gets his powers back. So I'm guessing like he goes back behind him like, I got you, Doom, and my powers are back. Like, it just, I don't know. So you guys can tell me what you think or how you feel about it. I hope these leaks aren't real. Again, in the past, leaks have come up and been real. Pieces of the leaks have come back and be real. I really hope none of this comes back besides a pod of superheroes that are like a resistance. That's all I really hope stays in here. Besides that, focus on the Young Avengers. Tom Holland can play a big part with his Spider-Man in it. Let him have some fun in one of these big events, because he got to do some in Endgame, or I'm sorry, in Infinity War. Only a little bit at the Endgame. And with Tony Stark, there's been rumors like he's gonna come back as Iron Man, and because they only mention it later on, where Tony Stark, they got him, he's a drunk, and they convince him, and he comes back. They never say anything else about him. And like he fights Doom at the end or something with Toby and Wolverine. But I've heard there's moments where like in other leaks, like Tony becomes Iron Man again, and he fights Doom, and they tussle, and it comes down to like Iron Man finally beating Doom, and Doom hates Iron Man after that, but then Iron Man's already dead, and it's like, why would you bring Tony Stark back to life after he sacrificed himself? Like, as far as a writer goes, why would you do it? As far as Doom goes, why would you do that? Why would Doom bring back the guy that killed Thanos, or get rid of Thanos and all his people? It just doesn't make sense. Again, this is just a leak. It's not 100% accurate. We don't know that, and we don't know if any of it is. Some pieces maybe, some might not be. Pick it apart, see what you thought. Like I said, about 3 days ago or so, these started to come out. More stuff has been coming. We'll talk about that when it does come out. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Could all this just be fake? But again, you have to remember, a lot of leaks, look them up. A lot of the old leaks had a lot of correct ones, and some were 100% correct. On top of that, some had just pieces correct, but it's scary. It's scary. If this is going to be the story, I'm sounding like those people about Endgame. I'm not happy with it. And it seems too lackluster and not focusing on the right characters. And just, yeah, I don't know. But again, be careful. This could be real. I'm saying right now, this is all probably fake, but we never know. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Is this going to be worth seeing if this is what it is? And if not, what do we need to change? I mean, really, we need to change something, at least in this story.